Being born an alligator is a raw deal. First off, you hatch into the world with about 50 siblings, and let's be honest, half of them are gone before your first swim lesson. If it's not a bird scooping them up, it's your own mom. That's right, Mama Gator might just eat you if she's feeling peckish. No therapy session is fixing that family dynamic. And don't even start on mosquitoes. While you're out there trying to channel your inner apex predator, mosquitoes are busy treating you like an all-you-can-eat buffet. You'd think having thick armored skin would help, but nope. Those little bloodsuckers find every soft spot. You can't swat them with those stubby arms, so you're left snapping at the air like a lunatic while the other gators laugh behind your back.
This is Dinzo, and he only has 5 videos uploaded, yet he's got 269,000 subscribers, and all 5 of his videos have millions of views. This guy is making it look easy, and hopefully we can start animating like Dinzo. The first thing that you need to do is just come over to ChatGPT, because we need a narration and we need a little storyline. So I'm just going to go ahead and put in this prompt right here, requesting a funny satirical narration about why it sucks to be born as an alligator. You also have the option to get a free voiceover through ChatGPT. I also have a video on it. Anyways, you just need to record the audio from your desktop using either OBS or Audacity. So once you get this narration, just click on this button, read aloud.
Being born an alligator is a raw deal. First off, you hatch into the world with about 50 siblings.
All right, so you're just gonna let it play out and record that audio, capture that audio some way, and you'll have a free voiceover. So the next step, guys, is to just start creating your images based on the narration and the storyline that you created. And I'm using Piclumen. This is a 100% free AI image generator, and I will give you guys the prompt for these images, and that way you could just change it to whatever you want, like whatever animal you're gonna make it on. I think that's gonna get you close to the style that he has his, so it looks like it's hand drawn. All right, so I'll just go ahead and give you an example. I'm gonna copy this prompt right here that I used for this bird, and I'm gonna come up here, and as you can see, I have it set on Flux 1 Schnell, and it's 16:9. So these are the settings that you want to use, and then I have 4 images generating. I'm gonna go ahead and put in this prompt, but I'm just gonna change it from a bird to, we'll just say a horse. Let's say you're making a video about a horse, and we'll go ahead and click on generate. And now here you could see the images. You don't actually have to be able to draw to create these type of animations. Although they look like he does his by hand, if you get the prompt right, you can make them look hand drawn. I'll make sure I put the prompt in the description for you guys. I'll put everything, all the links in the description, all the prompts in the description, so you guys have something to go off. And you're just gonna go through and make sure that you create the images along with the narration. And now I'm gonna show you how to animate these images. All right, so I wanna start off with an easy one, and then we'll work our way up to a more difficult one. So guys, for the first animation, we're gonna be doing this little bird. As I drag this along, you'll see the bird is flapping its wings and flying across the screen. And I'm gonna show you how I made that little animation. All right, so we'll start with that one. Let me minimize this. All it was this image right here. So let me just go ahead and download this, and we'll do it together. I'll download this as PNG. And now I'm just going to bring it into Photopea. So I'm just going to open up that image. All I did was get rid of everything except for this blue bird. One way you can do that is click on this magic wand brush and just select around the blue bird and click backspace. And now that I have this bird by itself, I'm just going to come over here to the eraser tool. And I'm going to make it a lot bigger. Make sure you click on deselect so you don't have anything selected. And now go ahead and just erase everything else from the picture, because you just want to isolate the bird. Now that I have it just by itself, just that bird, I'm going to go ahead and save that, export as PNG. And I'm just going to call it Bluebird1. Okay, and I'm going to save that. The next step is to manipulate this bird to make it look as if the wings are flapping. So I'm going to come up here to where it says edit, click on puppet warp. And then I'm going to also click up here where it says show mesh. I'm just going to deselect that because it's too much. I don't need that. Click on the wing. And these points basically act as anchor points. So I'm going to put one point on the body to anchor the body down. Now that I have a point on each wing, I should be able to just drag that wing down. So I'll click back on that wing and look at this. As you can see, I'm dragging the wing down. And now let me click on this other wing and drag it down as well. And if you see the body moving too much, go ahead and put another anchor point. Keep that body like that and drag it down some more. Okay, so now it looks like the wings are now flapping down. And now we can basically save that image, export as PNG, and I'll just save it as Bluebird 2. And I'll go ahead with one more. I'll probably drag the wings down just a little bit more, because on the animation that you saw within the video, it was just 3 images. That's all it was. And then you string those 3 images together and it looks like the bird is flapping its wings. So I might put one more point right here in the middle so that I can drag these wings down farther. Look at that. And I'll export that. Bluebird 3. And if you want, maybe you can do one more where the wing is like all the way up. Export that. Now we're going to go into Capcut and I'm going to show you how to string these images together to create an animation. Okay guys, now here we are in Capcut. I'm going to bring in a background so that we can add our bird into this background. I'm going to bring in those images that we just saved. So from Bluebird 4 to Bluebird 1, I'll bring all those in. And like I said, you could honestly do this with just 2 images. I'm doing 4 just to try and make it look a little bit better. We'll see how well it looks. One by one, and bring these images in. And I'm going to put it on top of the background. So you see the background, and then I'll put these images on top of it. And you can move the bird around wherever you want it. So I'm going to start it on this left side, and we'll just have him fly across the screen, and I'll show you how to do that. All right, so I'm just going to bring him in like that, and I'm going to drag this down maybe 1/4 of a second. All right, and then I'll bring in the next image, number 2, and we'll make it the same length. And bring in the 3rd one and the 4th one. Okay, so now we have our 4 images position. If I play it, you see how the bird is literally looks like it's flapping its wings and it's animated. In order to make this easy on yourself, highlight those 4 clips, click on copy, and just paste it next to it. And do that a couple times. Now let's watch it back. We can use keyframes to move it across the screen so it looks like it's flying. So let's go ahead and create a keyframe. And I'll just start off with the first keyframe. I'll hit this button right here where it says transform. I just click on the keyframe and I can move it to where I want it to start. So I'll start him right on the left side, like he's coming in from the sky on the left side. And then I'll just move over a couple frames and I'll drag him on over a little bit. And I'll keep doing that. Now let's play that back. Okay, so you guys get the gist of that. So let's go ahead and animate that alligator. You see his legs moving? I'm going to show you how to do that. This is the image that I used where the alligator was walking across the screen and the mosquitoes were following him. I'll download this and I'm going to show you how we can animate this. We're going to come over to Photopea after we download that picture. And we're just going to open it up. I'm going to go ahead and click on the magic wand tool again, and I'm going to click on the background, and I'm just going to delete it. And then I'm going to click on this floor, and I'm going to delete that as well. And then once I do that, I can go in with my eraser tool, if that's easier, and just get rid of the stuff that's around him. I'll click on that eraser tool. I'll get rid of these. Let me make sure that I deselect whatever's been selected, okay? Because then your eraser won't work. All right, now I'm just going to erase everything that's around him. So I'm going to go ahead and export this, and I'm just going to call it Alligator Stationary. Next, what you want to do, click on this tool right here. It says Magnetic Lasso Select. Now, if you don't see this tool, right click on this spot right here, and then I'm going to zoom in on this alligator. Using this magnetic tool, I'm just going to start cutting out the legs. So the magnetic tool is going to follow along. It should help you follow along. You might have to click some points manually every once in a while if it goes off track, but it's essentially, it should find the line itself and it'll help you select the line. It'll help you go around the line that you're supposed to be going around. Okay, so just like that, I've selected only this foot right here. And then what I'm going to do is click Control X, and that cuts his foot out. And then I'm going to hit Control V. It pasted the foot back in. But as you can see, it's put it on a new layer. So that's exactly what we want. We want these legs on different layers so that we can animate them. So now if I just hide this layer, you'll see that the leg is gone because it's on a new layer. Or if I hide the background, which is basically his body, you'll see that only the foot is left because it's on that layer. All right, so I'm just gonna keep doing that to all the legs. Change the name of this to body so you guys understand. And I'm gonna name this one front right foot because that's what it is. And that way I don't get confused on my layers. Now I'm going to go back to the body layer, and once again I'm going to use that magnetic lasso tool, and I'm going to start right here, and I'm just going to cut out his leg. Now all 3 legs are on different layers. Now the next step is to come over here and make sure you're on body. And you might want to hide these. Actually, you do want to hide these layers, okay? So hide all your feet layers. We're going to deselect them so they're all hidden, and make sure you're on the body layer. All right, so now I'm going to come over to the eraser tool, and I'm just going to get rid of this stuff that's left behind. So make sure you're on the body layer when you do this. And I'm just going to clean up whatever was left behind. All right, so now that that's cleaned up, we're just going to fill in that body. So I'm going to click on the paintbrush tool, and then I'm going to click on my color swatch. And if you just click on the body, it'll select the exact color. And I'm just going to fill that in. And the great thing about these Dinzo animations is that you don't have to worry about this stuff being perfect, because the more it looks hand-drawn, the better. And now, as you can see, we have a body, and we have each foot, and they're all on separate layers. The first thing we're gonna do is click on front right foot, which is this back foot here. And then we're gonna click on edit and free transform. And now we can move his foot. All right, so the first starting position, we also wanna make sure, since this is like the far side foot, we wanna make sure that this is under the body layer. That way it's hidden behind it, okay? So when I click on it, and I click edit free transform. See, now as I move it up, it's hidden behind the body because it's on the far side. You don't want to see it. And now I'm just gonna like turn it down a little bit as if it's walking, and I'll move it back here. Okay, so it's gonna look like his front foot is pushing backwards. And now let's click on the other front foot, the front left foot, and I'll click on edit free transform. And I'm just gonna tilt it like this. Okay, I'm just gonna rotate it, and I'm also gonna click on it and move it up forward more. All right, so now it looks like he's in the process of walking. Then I'm gonna click on the back left foot, edit free transform, and I'm gonna rotate it a little bit again and put it like that. I'm gonna drag it down slightly. So now it looks like his foot is in the process of walking. All right, and just like that, we're gonna save that, export that as, we'll just call it Gator Walk 1. So now we're just going to rotate everything the opposite. So these 2 feet will be going backwards, and this foot will be going forwards. So let's rotate this backwards. Once again, we're going to export that, PNG, Gator Walk 2. Now let's go back into Capcut and let's figure out this animation, and we'll just make the animation with this background. I'm going to import those 2 images that we just made, Gator Walk 1, Gator Walk 2, and I'm also going to bring in the stationary one. So let's click all those and open those up. And let's go ahead and bring in Gator Walk 1. And of course, I'm going to make the clip much shorter. All right, so we'll figure out how long we want it in a second once we see what it looks like, and then bring in Gator Walk 2. And again, shorten the clip. All right, now you have this when you move the slider, and as you can see, it looks like he's walking. A nice simple animation. And now what we can do is just copy and paste, and now we can highlight all these clips, click on create compound clip, and we can use our keyframes to make him walk. So we'll start him all the way over here on the right side of the screen, and we'll create that first keyframe, and then we'll go over a couple frames and move him forward. And let's just say we want him to stop right about there. What we can do is we can cut this clip, and we can bring in the stationary gator. Now let's play the clip. So you can see him walking, and stops right there. So hopefully you guys are understanding this. Hopefully I'm teaching it right and making it clear for you guys. And let's go ahead and make another animation. I'm going to show you how I created this little egg scene, how the egg cracks open and then the baby gator pops out. So we're going to go back over here to Piclumen. So for this one, I actually combined this image right here. I used this egg, and then I used this little baby gator, and I cut the baby gator out. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and show you how I did that. So let's just download both of these images. Download this and download this baby gator one. And then we're going to head over to Photopea. I have the baby gator opened up. And now the first step that I need to do is use the magnetic tool to cut him out. I'll just zoom in. All right, so as you can see, I just selected the baby gator. And now what I'm going to do is come up here to where it says select, and you're going to click inverse. So now it's going to actually select everything but the baby gator. And we should be able to just hit backspace and delete everything else just like that. And we want to save that. So let's go ahead and click export as PNG. And I'm just going to say no background baby gator, and I'll save that. So that's the only element we need from that image. I'm going to close that out, and I'm going to open up the other image. And now for the egg, I want to do two things. First, I'm going to go ahead and click on duplicate layer, and then I'm just gonna hide the one that says background. So I'm just gonna take the magic wand tool and select the background and hit backspace, and then I'm going to take my eraser tool and I'm just gonna go ahead and delete all this grass. But first I need to come up here to select and click deselect, and now I can just erase all this grass. I'm going to come in here with my brush tool, and I want this crack on the egg to run horizontal. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paint over this so that I just have a clean white egg. So now we have a perfect egg just like that. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to make the progression of the crack in the egg. So first we're going to start with a perfectly clean egg, and I'm just going to export that as PNG. No background, egg, no crack. All right, so I'll save it as that, and I'm going to come over to my brush tool. This is how we animate the crack. So you're just going to draw just a little bit of the crack. So I'll just draw just like that much. Okay, and then I'm gonna save that. I'll just say crack egg 1, and now I'll continue to draw the crack a little bit further, just like that, and export as PNG. We'll complete the crack all the way through and export that again and say crack egg 3. Okay, now that we have it all the way cracked, now I'm just gonna draw the top shell that cracked off of it. Just like that. And now I'm going to zoom in on here, and I'm going to erase this middle part, okay? And what you can do to speed this process up is to just use your magnetic tool. And cut that out, hit Control X, and hit Control V to paste it on a new layer. And I'm going to name this top eggshell. And then I'm going to move it away a little bit so I can erase the rest of that stuff. All right, so now that you have everything erased within here and you've selected this, cut it out and pasted it back in on a new layer, now you have these two eggshells cracked and on separate layers, so we can animate both of those. Now, if I click on the top eggshell and I click on this pointer tool, I can now move the eggshell on the top, and I can move the eggshell on the bottom. So that's perfect. That's exactly how we want it. And we're going to go ahead and save it with these two shells pretty close to each other as if they just cracked open. All right, so let's go ahead and export that as a PNG. I'll just call it shell crack and save that. Now I'm going to add a new layer, and I'm just going to call this blue. And what I'm going to do is, let me click on the top eggshell and move it up, and I'm going to drag this blue layer down below the layer that says bottom shell. And now let me click on the layer that says blue, and I'm going to click on my paintbrush tool, and I'm just going to go ahead and draw a background. So basically I'm drawing the back of the eggshell of that, and then I'm going to come in here with do like a light baby blue, that color. And now since this layer is underneath the bottom shell layer, you can go kind of crazy with your painting. All right, now so we basically have the interior of the shell. Now we can bring in that baby gator as well. So click on File, Open, Place, and bring in the baby gator. And we could just scale him down a little bit and also rotate him so that he's facing out of the shell. Now let's bring the top eggshell down over top. Now what you can do is hold down Control and click on all these layers, and then click on Edit, Free Transform. And we can rotate the egg so that it's turned sideways. That way it looks like the egg has fallen over on its side. And now if I just select the top eggshell and I click on the selector tool, I can move this top eggshell layer out just a little bit so it looks like the baby gator is just breaking through the egg. And now I can save that. I'll just save it as breakthrough 1 to keep it simple. And now I can move on with the next picture, which I'm just gonna move the eggshell out a little bit further, and then click on the baby gator and move him out a little bit more. And I'm also gonna rotate him. I'm gonna click on Free Transform, turn him a little bit because I want him coming out like this way. And then click on the top eggshell. I'm also gonna rotate that a little bit. So Free Transform, rotate just a little bit. And I just want it like just over his nose, as if his nose is like pushing the eggshell out. And then I'll save that. That looks good right there. Export as PNG. Breakthrough 2. And now let's move him out. Let's make it progress a little bit more. Let's move the shell out like this. And I'm also going to rotate it. So now the shell is like falling down. And then let's bring the baby gator out. And let's bring the baby gator out more. I'm going to rotate him again. I'm going to make him aiming a little bit higher like that. Right about there is good. File, export as, PNG, breakthrough 3. And now for the final image in this like little animation sequence, I'm going to bring him out just a little bit more. Just about there. And then let me click on that top eggshell and click Free Transform. I'm going to rotate it some more as if it's now fallen on the ground. And I want it kind of level with this egg so that way they should be sitting on the ground whenever we put them on the background. All right, so just like that, I'll save that as breakthrough 5 or breakthrough 4 I'm on. All right, and now we should have that sequence of the egg cracking and then it flipping on its side and the baby gator popping out. So let's go ahead and animate that within Capcut. Okay, so let me minimize this and let's come back into Capcut. I'm gonna bring in that background once again. And now I'm gonna go ahead and click on import. And I'm going to import all those images from breakthrough 1 to 4, also how we were cracking the egg. Now, as you could see right here of all of our images that we just brought in, you can see how it progresses and you can almost see the animation taking shape. So let's go ahead and bring them in one by one. So we'll bring in the full egg, of course, make it a lot shorter. Now let's bring in this egg crack 1, make it a lot shorter, egg crack 2, and we're just going to go down the line, bringing in these images. All right, so now that we have them all brought in, we can just go ahead and play it if you want right now, just to see what we're working with and what we need to fix. That's pretty good as a starting point. We're moving a little bit too fast. But as you can see, it's a pretty cool animation. It's basically like creating those old flip books where you would draw the next scene, the next scene, the next scene, and then just flip the pages like that. So let's zoom in a little bit and let's fix this animation up. I want to make these a little bit longer, each one. So I made them too quick. All right, now that I made it a little bit longer, let's just check it out. I think that looks really good. That's about the right speed for this to be happening at. Now, another thing that we can do is we can make the egg jump and bounce, which is what I did in the original video. Okay, so let's start with the first clip and we're gonna click on transform and we'll just start it as it is. Let's move forward just like 2 frames and then we'll bring the egg up and maybe rotate it a little bit. Bring it back down a little bit. Then it gets its crack. So let's just play that. So as you can see, I know it's quick, but it jumps up and then bounces down and cracks. And now let's do the same thing. We'll click on the second clip. We'll click on transform. Then move forward like 2 frames. And make the egg jump up, and we'll tilt it to the side. This time this way, to the right. Move it up some more. Bring it back down. Have it falling down. It cracks. So now we got this. Now we got 2 jumps and 2 cracks. Now let's do the same thing with the next one. Click on transform. Bring it up. Rotate it a little bit. Bring it up higher. Move the playhead forward. Turn a little bit. Now bring it back down a little bit so it's falling back down, and then it bounces and cracks. And keep on going. Let's keep on making it jump and crack. We'll make it, this time it's going to jump farther. And I'm going to rotate it more because I want this eggshell where it's fully cracked. I want it to be on its side like this. So I'm going to rotate it and have it cracked on its side. So it's going to go crack, crack, and then it falls on its side. And that's when the baby gator pops out. Let me just bring this down here. So as you can see, I'm just lining up these. Once it's on its side and cracked, you don't have to really move it. I'm just making sure they all line up. So now, as you can see, we've made using the keyframes, that's how we make the egg bounce and crack. Just like that. And now when you want to take it one step further, if you just add in some sound effects of the egg cracking, let's come up to the audio tab up here. Type in egg crack. Alright, that one sounds pretty good. Bring this down to the timeline and see how it sounds. So just line the cracking sound up with the clips. Let's go ahead and play that. That looks really good. So there you go. That's how you create an animation like that with the baby gator popping out of the cracking egg. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you got a lot out of this video. And hopefully you guys will be able to animate like Dinzo. Maybe you guys can get some views like him. If you even get like 1/10 of the views of he does, you guys will be doing great. All right, man. I'll see you guys in the next video.